Hi Flosstube, welcome to my channel. My name is Lynn and I'm the Lancashire Stitcher. Today is Saturday the 22nd of March 2025 and this is Flosstube 117. If you're new here, welcome. This is a channel mainly about cross stitch, but I do include other crafts, and I also talk about walks and travels that I've been on recently. I also occasionally talk about books that I've been reading. If you're returning, welcome back. It's lovely to be chatting with you all again. It's 3 weeks since my last video. Not done much stitching in those 3 weeks. As you'll know from the title, I was in Krakow last weekend with my husband. We had a long weekend, which I'll talk about later on. And yeah, it's just been a bit chaotic. At least the last couple of weeks have been chaotic, to say the least. So yeah. You may notice I'm full of a cold. I started with a sore throat yesterday and it's come out proper today, so I do have tissues ready. I just wanted to get this video done today, and then it's out the way, done. Yeah, so let's get going. So I have two fully finishes and they're both from my smalls category. The first one is my Holy Mud Biscornu that I finished a few weeks ago, and I've finished it into the Biscornu, so it's got a button on the bottom, a button on the top, and it's finished. So yeah, it'll go nicely with my what was it called? Halloween? I can't remember. An owl one. They're both by Barbarana Designs. Hello Scornu, that was what it was called. Yeah. So yeah, so that's that finished, totally finished. And then my other one is a finish and a fully finish, and it's done a flop on me. This is meant to stay stood up. It stayed stood up the whole time since I made it, and then I've picked it up a couple of times today to show my video, and the glue's gone, so I'll have to put a little dab of glue on the bottom again just to keep it stood up. I'll just do that because I've got something on my board. I can't use my board. There's my little owl. Oakley Owlet, good grief. And then the back has a little owl on the back. So yeah, so I finished it, and then I still had a day to work on it on my rotation, so I fully finished it. So yeah, so he'll sit on this shelf too, along with my little mouse there and my owl humbug. So yeah, that's Just Nan. I've actually got the picture for that one, which I'll show you. There it is, Just Nan, Oakley Owlet. So yeah, there we go. So that's that one. Right, and then I also have a finish. I only finished this last night and I've stretched it on my board because of all the creases in it. This is Stars. Let me show you the picture. Stars by the Drawn Thread. I got this as a full kit from Nimble Thimble, and I've finished it. This was my words and letters category on my rotation, and I finished it last night. The verse, it's the alphabet up at the top, and then the verse says, as the evening twilight fades away, the sky is filled with stars, invisible by day. So yeah, there we go. This fabric is 32 count dark cobblestone Belfast linen. Yep. I'll take that off there, and then I've got my board if I need it again. I've got my dragon on my lap, so I'm trying not to let it slip off my knee. So there we go. Right. So, whips. My first whip is Dragon Field Note, don't fall off. Dragon Field Note by UnconventionalXStitch, Unconventional Cross Stitch. Artwork by Hope Christopherson. I always forget to show the picture, and I've remembered today. So that's the picture. This is one that I usually stitch in the morning when my husband goes to work, but in the last 3 weeks I've stitched on it once, mainly because we went to Krakow, and then I've had to drive my husband to work a few times because I needed the car, and his friend who usually gives him a lift has his car broke down and now he's on holiday, so yeah, but I've stitched on it, so I'm showing it. So there is Dragonfield Knot. It's stitched on 25 count, easy guide by Zweigart, 1/1 full cross, and I'm still finishing this page off, the one over here. So yeah, there he is. Yeah, so hopefully I'll get to stitch on him a bit more next week and the week after. So I'm going to put him down there because I've got a bag there to put him on. Right, other whips. My next one is QS Spirit of Winter Robin by Heaven and Earth Designs, artwork by Ciro Marchetti. This is my full coverage piece in my rotation. And that is my progress. So it's getting filled in slowly but surely, that page. So, yeah, it's lovely detail on it. I just love it. This fabric is 25 count easy guide by DMC. I'm using DMC threads, 1/1 full cross. There we go. I'll show you my nails while I remember. I've got spring nails this time. Keep forgetting to show them. I've got like a sage green on the tips, and then we've got daisies painted on them. So yeah, that's my nails. So yeah. Right, next one. I've not brought the picture up because this stays out all the time. Because I stitch on this usually every week. I didn't take it to Krakow with me. This is Composition Florale by Jardin Prive. I stitch on it with my friends Hazel and Ush when we have a Teams call on at the weekend. I love the colours in this. I've done this part here, so that square's nearly finished. But yeah, there we go. This is 35 count cream Edinburgh linen, and I'm stitching 1/2, 1 thread over 2 threads of fabric. There we go. And then my last whip is my celebrations and holidays category, and it's Little Bits of Halloween by the Drawn Thread. Stitching this square, and I'm doing it as it is there, I've decided. I got this as a kit from Nimble Thimble. You didn't get the fabric with it because obviously you can do different designs, so you just did it on your own fabric. And I think this is Summer Khaki, 32 count, and that's my progress. I did this square this time, so I've only got 2 squares to do, so 2 more rotations and it'll be done, I think. It's stitched using NPIs and dinky dyes. Yeah, there we go. They're all my whips. As I said, I've not stitched a great deal. I think, looking at my planner, in the last 3 weeks, I think there's 8 days where I didn't stitch at all. The day I did my last video, which was a Monday, I ended up working late, so I didn't do any stitching that day as well as doing my video. And then going to Krakow, I didn't take anything with me because I didn't want to risk having anything taken off me, because we just took cabin bags. And yeah, just busy. The last week or 2 have been just chaos really, apart from going to Krakow, but yeah. Right, so rotation replacement. So those 2 fully finishes were both smalls pieces, so I need a new smalls, which I've decided I'm going to stitch this one, which is the Wedding Quadrille by the Sweetheart Tree. So that's my next smalls piece, and where it is up to now, and I don't know what this fabric is, I've just pulled it out the box, so I'll have to let you know when I stitch on it. That's as much as I've done. I think that's one side finished, apart from beads. So yeah, so that's one side of it, and I think the words are done 1/1. So, yeah, and then my words and letters category, which stars was a piece of, I'm going to do A Walk in the Woods by the Cricket Collection, or Cross-Eyed Cricket. So yeah, this has been a whip for a while, so it'd be good to get it finished. Again, I don't know what the fabric is, it's just probably a piece of antique white. And that is my progress on that. So it'll be good to get this finished. I think it'll take a while, but yeah, this is going to be my words and letters category. So there you go. There's my rotation replacements. Yeah, and with all the chaos in the past few weeks, I've not stitched on Royal Holiday, I've not stitched on Autumn Garden, there's something else I've not stitched on, but I can't remember what it is. But yeah, it's just been a bit chaotic. As I said before, in my planner I have a number on each day telling me which rotation piece I'm doing. So there's 3 days where I stitch on one piece, and then the next 3 days are another piece. So if I can't stitch on those days, I don't stitch on it. It gets left till the next time, so I know where I am in my rotation. So let's have a go with stash enhancement. So as I said in my last video, I needed some Gentle Arts moss, and I'd ordered some from Talking Dog Stitchery. And I'd also ordered a skein from 123 Stitch. So these are the two I got from Talking Dog Stitchery, and they're quite dark. No, they're very dark. And then this is the one from 123 Stitch. So the two from Talking Dog Stitchery are too dark to use on my Simple Gifts Christmas, but this one is a perfect colour, but it just shows how different it can be. So yeah, so I'll be using this one on my Simple Gifts Christmas, and not these two. These two will get left for another project when I start something that needs moss. So yeah, that just shows the difference in hand-dyed threads. Right, so other stash. I got this Ricardo's Roses by the Drawn Thread. I got it from 123. No, I didn't. I got it from Nimble Thimble because it's a full kit. So yeah, I think Ush and Hazel also have this, and also Alison, who's stitching with us. And then from Talking Dog Stitchery, and I have a card from Talking Dog. That's Talking Dog Stitchery. I'll put a link down below. As well as the thread, I also ordered this Cat Lovers by Jardin Prive. Just love that. And then, as I said in my last video, I ordered something after seeing it on Just Keep Stitching, Pam and Steph. Pam was stitching on this Cricket Collection October, and I just love it. Nothing special in October, but I just love that design. And I also got the Silken Colours Woods of Gold, and I got the buttons for it as well, because there's 3 buttons that go on it. So I've got that. So that's from 123 Stitch. And then I also got my February fabric of the month from Fabrics by Crafty Kate, which is a lovely pinky purple peachy colour. So yeah, that'll be nice for something. I always get 32 count linen, so that's that one. And then I've left this all in the bag. I got a set from Hazel at Pretty Little Thread Keeps, and I got a dragonfly set. So you got thread drops, dragonflies, and you got 2 bag tags with dragonflies on. I got, I'll get that out first because it's sticking to everything. Come on. I got a needle minder with a dragonfly on it. And a thread keep. with a dragonfly, and then there's a little dragonfly as well. So, yeah. And then there's a bag tag, bag zipper pull, that's the one. There we go. And then I got this as well. That's around a bag. Yeah, so I got that from Pretty Little Thread Keeps. Links to all these places will be down below in the description box as usual. And I think that's all my, yeah, that's all my stash enhancement. I didn't find anywhere in Krakow that sold cross stitch, so yeah, I didn't really look, to be honest, but yeah. Yeah, let's move them off my notes so I can see my notes. So that's all my stash enhancement for this 3 weeks. Next, let's talk about my beading. So, beading, see, I've got all the thread, all of my beading. So the first I'm going to show you is a start and a finish. And I'm going to get my board for this. This is my Mermaid's pendant. Well, it's a necklace, but it'll get hung up. I usually have one hung up on here, but I took it down to take to the beading session, and yeah, I've not put it back yet. The other one was like a grey metal and gold and black, I think. This one's a bit more colourful. So yeah, lovely little starfish. It's done using peyote stitch and herringbone stitch, using 2 bead sizes. So yeah, and then you put them all together. So that's that. And then I've started another thing, which I've got a picture for. I'll have to be careful how I can hold this. This is called Cheryl's Santa Pod. Basically, you do 3 pieces and then fasten them together. And it's all peyote stitch. And I got this from Halfpenney's Beads, where I go for my beading day. And so let's check it out. So this is what I've done so far. There's threads on it because I've not finished it yet. So where are we? So it's obviously got Santa. You got half of Santa on the front and on the back, and then you've got gold beads on the edge. So you do 3 of these. I think I've got 3 more rows to do, and then you do another 2 exactly the same, and you fasten them together. So yeah, so that's that. Got a needle there. So that's my beading. Dear me. And then knitting. I've been knitting the little sweater for my grandson. Sirdar pattern 3489, a little hooded sweater, using Sirdar Snuggly yarn, double knit. And I finished one sleeve. So that's one sleeve. Now in the pattern, if you have a look at the picture, it's all blue up to the seam and like the orangey mustard colour at the bottom. Where in the pattern it tells you when you get to where, let's try the right end, when you get to where you start decreasing on here, so there, you're meant to change it back to the grey. And I just thought, I'm not doing that, that's not what it shows in the picture. So yeah, that's obviously a mistake on the pattern, because I wasn't doing that. I presume it'd make it look like you've got like a short sleeve t-shirt on, but yeah, it didn't look right. So I've just left it like it is in the pattern. So that's one sleeve, and then I've just started the other sleeve, so I've only done a few rows on that. So yeah, so that's my knitting. There you go. I've not done any other knitting. Yeah, it's just weird how little I've done in the last few weeks compared to how much I normally do. So, right, that's all my crafts. Next, Krakow. Right, so my husband and I went to Krakow on Friday last week. We got an early flight. We were in Krakow by 10 o'clock. On the Friday, we just spent the day in the old town. It was pouring down, so we got drenched. We went in an outdoors shop and bought a plastic mat each, but then it didn't rain the rest of the time we were there. Of course not. So yeah, we managed to dry out. My coat was soaked through by the time we got to the hotel where we were stopping, you know, so that we weren't going back out again. So I put my coat over a chair near the radiator, and it did dry out. So then that was Friday, and then like we went back to the hotel early because we'd been up since 2 o'clock in the morning, because we had to be at the airport by 4:15. Our flight was supposed to be at 6:15, but then it was late. We set off at 7. And then on the Saturday, sorry, I need tissue. On the Saturday, we'd booked a trip to Auschwitz, the concentration camp. Oh dear. We hired a coach. We went to a meeting place and got on a coach and with a guide, obviously English speaking, and we went to Auschwitz. Went to Auschwitz 1 first, had a look round, and I said I didn't find it as harrowing as some people say. It just brought it to life, I think, because we'd learnt about it in school and you knew everything that had happened there. We'd been to Anne Frank's house and learnt a lot more about it there in Amsterdam. So when we actually went to Auschwitz, it was just sort of like bringing it as though this actually happened, you know. It was quite sad. Yeah, but yeah, I'm glad I went. I think everybody should go just to see how much hate people can have, how evil some people can be. And then, you know, we saw where people used to get shot. We saw the barracks where the experiments went on. You couldn't go in it. They don't like people in that one, but they told us about how they used to experiment on people. You went in some barracks. You saw pictures of people who were in Auschwitz. And like it said, the day that they were deported to Auschwitz and the day they died, and there was one lady, she only lived 10 days. It just shows how horrific it was. And then, yeah, it was just, you had a little break then where you could go in the cafe and get a drink. And then we got back on the coach and went to Auschwitz 2, Birkenau. Now, Auschwitz 2 is bigger and it's much more open. A lot of the barracks were knocked down, and it's just, yeah, horrendous. But yeah, it was freezing. At Auschwitz 2, it was absolutely freezing because you were up on basically in a field. But yeah, it was horrendous. And all you could think about were the people who were there in basically pyjamas when they were captives there, and how hard it was for them. But yeah, it was definitely one of the places I'm so glad I went to, because like I say, you just realise how awful it must have been for those people. When we were in Auschwitz 1, we saw pictures of a family walking towards the gas chambers. They didn't know that's where they were going to. They thought they were just being moved to a different part of the camp. So basically you saw them in the last minutes of their life. We actually went into one of the gas chambers and saw the furnaces where the bodies were burned afterwards. So yeah, it was quite, yeah, it was very interesting. And the guide who took us round, he was really good at explaining things to us. So yeah, it also had the gallows where Rudolf Hess was hung for his crimes, and it showed his house. He lived in a house with his family, basically on the grounds of Auschwitz 1. But yeah, so yeah, it was just, like I said, I think everybody should go there just to see how bad it is, how bad it was then, how evil people can be. And you just think, is this what we're going to again now? Is this, you know, where they don't want people, they don't want certain types of people living in their country? And is it going to get where that's what they're going to do? But yeah, like I say, we're just glad we went. So that was Saturday. Basically we went, so that's all we did on Saturday. It was a 7.5, 8 hour journey, day trip. And then we went to a nice Italian restaurant on Saturday night for our evening meal, and it was really nice. Sunday we'd booked a trip to the salt mines. So that was a nice trip. You had to go down 380 steps to get down into the mine. The first lot of steps altogether there was 640 steps altogether, I think, that we went down. Yes, I was counting them. But yeah, that was really interesting. I've got some lots of photos from there. It was like a little village in the mines, and there was like a chapel and things like that. So yeah, it was really good. And what else did we do on the Sunday? We went to well, we tried having a look around the Jewish quarter, but apparently they do mass every 2 hours, so you couldn't really go in any of the churches or synagogues because there were constantly people there. So we just went back up to the old town, and we ended up going into Hard Rock Cafe for our evening meal. Exactly the same menu as the one in New York, but you know, it's Hard Rock Cafe. We like going. We like if we go anywhere, we like to go to the Hard Rock Cafe if there is one in that place. And then on the Monday, which was the day we were coming back, but we weren't flying until 9 o'clock Monday night, we went down to Schindler's factory, Oscar Schindler's factory, as in Schindler's List film. It was free to enter on Monday, so you basically had to get there early to get in the queue. We got there half an hour before it opened, and it took us an hour to get to the door to get in. But yeah, that was really good. It was mainly about the occupation of Krakow by the Nazis. There was only a little bit actually about Oskar Schindler and what he did, but you know what he did. But yeah, he helped all the workers in his factory to escape not have to go to the concentration camps, even though he was a Nazi. But yeah, so we went there, and then we walked down to the remains of the ghetto wall, which we're glad we went to Schindler's factory first because it told you about the ghetto wall and about it getting built and what happened to the Jews who were in the ghetto. So actually seeing the remains then, it was like, you know, yeah, it was good. You could see, yeah, this is what happened to the people there. So yeah, again, loads of photos in the slideshow at the end. I might have shown some while I've been talking. We'll see how things go later when I'm editing. And then we also went to St Mary's Basilica on Monday. St Mary's Basilica, and I will put a picture up of that. It's the main church that's in the old town square, and you could go in and visit. And we went in there, and it was a lovely church. It's lovely inside. I'm a sucker for an old church. You know, I love old buildings. And then we also did a walk on the east side of town. I had this guidebook for walks and tours around Krakow, and there was this one that you could go around and see these old churches. So we did that. It was only like a mile and a half, but you got to see some really nice churches, and it explained a bit about each church. Pardon me. So yeah, that was good. That was nice to do. All the time we were out on Monday, we'd left our bags. We only had cabin bags, so we left them at the hotel. Good grief, pardon me. Anyway, so when it was nearly time to go to the airport, we went back to the hotel and got our bags, and there was a train station right near the hotel, so we could just get on the train there and go straight to the airport. Now, Krakow Airport is horrendous. It's basically too small for the number of people you go through, and somebody told me this. Somebody told me, go early. Don't go at the last minute. It'll take you forever to get through. And basically, we got to the airport, and you enter it, and you go one way, like you've got ziggy-zaggy lanes in front of you, and that's for the departures. But then people who've arrived are also walking past, because we walked past it when we got there. So you're doing all this ziggy-zaggy bit with a mile-long queue of people. And you could see where people were scanning the boarding pass, and you thought, oh, you know, at least that's it then. We're in security after that. No, you got through the boarding pass bit, and it was ziggy-zaggy bit again to get to security. So we were there for ages, queuing up with all these people just to get through the boarding pass check and then security check. And then we got through security check, and we saw on the departure board that it said they'll be announcing the gate 2 hours before the flight, and we're thinking that's quite a long time. That they don't usually do that, you know. Yeah, we found out why. We went for a coffee and something to eat because it was in evening meal time, so we thought we'd better get something to eat. And then we said, well, you know, let's go and see where the gate is, then we know. And we went down, and you got to this ziggy-zaggy bit again, and it's like, hang on, what's going on here? We're going to the gate, what's going on? And there were people, border control, and they were actually stamping people's passports. I'm like, well, surely not. We've done that. We did it on the way in. But apparently, in Krakow airport, they stamp your passport to say you're leaving Poland. So you had to queue up again on the ziggy-zaggy bit. Show your boarding pass, show your passport, and then they stamp your passport and it's got a little arrow on the stamp saying that you're leaving. You're not coming in, you're leaving. Okay, so we got 2 stamps for Poland, and then we got to the gate, and there were people queuing up, and we're like, oh, that can't be for our flight, because I'd looked on the app, and our flight was still coming over from Manchester, so it wasn't for our flight. And when I looked at the screens, it said it was for another flight. So there were people queuing up for this other flight while we were sitting down for the next flight. And then once this other flight had boarded, they announced another flight to come to our gate. So it was just a constant stream of people. But getting on the plane was so much better because they had you basically walked on the tarmac, and they had the back door open. We were sat at the back of the plane, so we got on at the back. But then when we got to Manchester, they only opened the front doors, so we were basically the last off the plane. But yeah, like I said, if you ever go to Krakow, just be aware the airport is chaos. But yeah, it's like an organised chaos, but you need to go early. But yeah, we had a really nice time. It was, like I said, we do this. We go to places for the historical aspects. You know, we don't go to drink. When we were going over to Krakow, there was a big group of men who were obviously going on a stag party, and they were basically drunk before they got off the plane in Krakow. So you knew all they were going to do was drink for the whole weekend, and you just think, okay, where we were more for the history side of things. But yeah, we had a really nice time. But yeah, I was so tired. Basically, I got 4 hours sleep on Monday night, and we didn't get home till coming up for 1 o'clock in the morning on Tuesday, and we had to get up again at 5:30 so I could take my husband to work. So yeah, I was tired on Tuesday, and then I think I've been coming down with this cold all week because I've just felt so run down, and now I've actually stopped. It's all coming out. So yeah. But yeah, like I say, brilliant weekend, loved it. Don't know where we're going next. We're going to Devon in a few months, but yeah, I'll talk about that when it comes up. So I think that's about it for today. I've talked about everything, I think. So I do have a trip to Nimble Thimble coming up in a couple of weeks. I've not looked when my next video is. It's going to be that weekend. Right, it's probably going to be no, it won't. Oh, good grief. I'll probably have to film on the 7th of April, the Monday, because I'm busy on the Saturday, and then the coach trip, it's my coach ramble on the Sunday, so it'll probably be the Monday morning when I film again on the 7th of April. So hopefully I'll have a bit more stitching to show you. So, have a good 2 weeks. Take care of yourselves and those you love. Be kind, always, always, and happy stitching. Bye for now.